Hi, everyone. I'm Olga Villaverdi. Welcome to The Balancing Act.
And I'm Montel.
Today, we're going behind the mystery, 2 rare diseases. First, complex regional pain syndrome.
And then we're going to learn a lot about sickle cell anemia.
Plus, we're going to learn about what's for dinner because I'm in the kitchen.
Someone's in the kitchen with, oh, God, and life insurance.
It all starts
right now. Well, today on Behind the Mystery, we're discussing complex regional pain syndrome, or CRPS.
It's a debilitating disease that causes severe chronic pain, swelling, and hypersensitivity to touch, which typically affects the upper or lower extremities.
And we'll be speaking to Dr. Amal Soin, interventional pain management physician and researcher at the Soin Therapeutics.
But first, let's meet Donna, whose life was forever changed because of CRPS. Take a look at her story.
The first symptom, I think that really showed me that there was something more going on. My husband and I were sitting on the couch and we had the fan going. Just the flow of the air over my skin was just causing an intense burning pain that wasn't going away. So that's when everything started to snowball. I'm from Springfield, Ohio. I've been married almost 19 years. We have a pretty active life. Sitting around enjoying some good old family time is good enough for us a lot of times.
After a bunionectomy on her left foot failed to heal, as well as her right, Donna began to experience persistent pain throughout her body.
I started noticing that, my hips and then my face and hands started being affected to the point where it seemed like every hair follicle was hurting. It was like there was thousands of fire ants underneath my skin, and, I would swell up, and then I would get red bumps. And it was just really odd that all of these symptoms were happening with no explanation. It was just like a constant revolving door of various doctors trying to explain my symptoms. It was like nobody was really listening. It was really depressing because it made me think that it was almost in my head. Not getting answers from these doctors and being frustrated with the appointments is a lot mentally to deal with. I turned to social media, and I had a friend actually contact me who stated that the symptoms were very similar to what he had, and I did some research, and finally, when I went back to a particular doctor, one of my specialists, he did confirm that I did fit all the criteria for being diagnosed with CRPS, complex regional pain syndrome. I was definitely happy to have a diagnosis. But then at the same time, from the previous research I had done, I didn't have a lot of hope.
Here to help us understand more about complex regional pain syndrome is Dr. Amal Soin. Doctor, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We just saw Donna's story, very impactful. Tell us more about, and it's called complex regional pain syndrome. Tell us what patients experience with this disease. I've never heard of it.
It's a really debilitating disease, and it typically affects the extremities, like the hands or feet, upper or lower extremities. And it's characterized by sharp, lancing pain, hypersensitivity to touch, swelling, color changes. It's difficult for people to walk, to use their fingers and hands, and the pain is way out of proportion to what you would typically imagine. Affects people 24/7.
Look, these symptoms can be misdiagnosed quite often, right? Can a diagnosis be difficult?
Oh, diagnosis is really hard in this disease state because most of the time, CRPS starts from some sort of injury. And usually it's a minor injury, twisting your ankle, getting your hand caught in a door or something like that. So doctors typically think, oh, this patient's still healing from their twisted ankle.
Or they think it's all in the mind.
Oh, yeah, that too, right? And they kind of pass it off, and it'll go on for months and sometimes years.
Do we know the cause of CRPS?
We think that there's some inflammation that occurs in the nerve cells called neural inflammation. We think that the nerves fire pain signals continuously and don't turn off for some reason, and that can cause a lot of pain. There's a lot of factors that go into it.
So, doctor, how can patients find relief?
Typically when a patient comes in with that type of pain, the first thing we often do is physical therapy. But that can be difficult if you're having a lot of pain.
Absolutely.
And even if light touch hurts, it's going to be very hard to do. So oftentimes we try pain pills, no opioids, narcotics, those have a lot of baggage, addiction and tolerance and that type of stuff. We've tried nerve blocks to try to block the nerve from firing a pain signal, and more recently something called neuromodulation. That's where we send electrical impulses to the nerve to try to make it not fire a pain signal.
Doctor, as a researcher at Soin Therapeutics, I was reading here that you're currently developing a unique formulation to treat complex regional pain syndrome. It sounds hopeful. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so we're working with a drug called naltrexone that is currently used for things like alcohol abuse or opioid overdose. But we've discovered that in very low doses, it has effects that could be very helpful for complex regional pain syndrome. We were actually granted orphan drug status from the FDA. And the way this works is by decreasing some of those chemical mediators involved in the disease process to decrease the inflammation of the nerves and to stimulate your body's production of endorphins, which are your body's natural painkillers. And the second thing that we're working on is a nerve stimulator, a spinal cord stimulator, to send an electrical impulse to that nerve that's firing those pain signals to try to get them to turn off from firing pain signals. But what's unique about that is we've discovered a way that the nerve actually communicates from nerve cell to nerve cell. So now we can interact and interface with the nerve in ways that other technologies haven't been able to do. We're actively studying both of these opportunities, and hopefully patients can get good results from these.
So Dr. Soin, what's the ultimate goal of these therapies?
Ultimately, we need a treatment that actually treats the disease process. Because right now, all the treatments and therapies that we have treat the symptoms. So ultimately, if we can figure out how to treat the disease state, that patient can hopefully live a life with a lot less pain. And that's what we're trying to accomplish with these two techniques.
Thank you so much for your educating us on this. And I appreciate what you're doing for all these patients who want to live pain-free.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, before we go, we want to go back to Donna. She's very special to see how meeting Dr. Soin impacted her life. Take a look.
So I was referred to a pain management doctor, and that is how I found Dr. Soin. He said, I can help you. He's like, I can't cure, but we can see what we can do and make this better. Dr. Soin had brought up to me about a clinical trial that he was doing in regards to a spinal cord stimulator to try it out and see what it could do for me as a rare disease patient. I look to the future with everything. So the idea of something being able to help others, I was all on board for. Being in these clinical trials with Dr. Soin, I just hope that this will lead to FDA-approved treatments for CRPS down the road. That way, others can get relief.
While waiting for an approved treatment, patients continue to struggle and have been known to be at risk of suicide due to the severe pain and comorbidities of the condition.
I was very angry at the beginning. I struggled with what I did to deserve this. I came to realize through my faith and other chronic pain warriors that we are definitely a tight group of fighters. We bond together through our day-to-day lives, the things that have changed, the people that we've lost. And at this point, a lot of times the fight is not just our fight, it's the fight for the memory of those that we've lost. It's a fight for the future so others don't have to live this kind of life. This journey has made me grow into a person that I wouldn't have been if I had not gotten this disease. So at times it's a blessing. You just gotta move forward and do it with others. You're never alone.
If you or someone you love suspects they have complex regional pain syndrome, visit rsds.org. And to learn more about the progress of Dr. Soin's therapies, visit sointherapeutics.com. You can always visit our website, thebalancingact.com. We'll be right back.
Studies show that more than 100,000 Americans are affected by sickle cell disease, or SCD, which is an inherited disorder that affects red blood cells.
People with sickle cell disease have red blood cells that become hard and pointed instead of being soft and round. This causes infection, stroke, and acute and chronic pain.
So today on Behind the Mystery, we're sitting down with President and founder of the Foundation for Sickle Cell Disease Research, Dr. Lanetta Bronte-Hall. Welcome, doctor.
Thank you so much for being here today, doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Explain, what is sickle cell?
Yes. Well, sickle cell disease is a genetic disorder. So you inherit one sickle gene from mom, one sickle gene from dad. The biggest thing with sickle cell disease is to understand that it is a disease of oxygen deprivation. So the red blood cells carry oxygen. So if you're constantly deprived of oxygen, every organ in your body is affected.
Of course.
Their eyes, their liver, their heart, their spleen, they kind of lose their spleen early on in life.
Doctor, I read here that sickle cell patients face some difficulties when it comes to health care. What kind of barriers do they face?
Well, the biggest challenge that the patients have is that they have acute pain and chronic pain. So they constantly seek care for their pain. So there's a lot of stigma associated with that because the pain medications they require are opioids. So they face challenges with getting seen on time and really having physicians who know them well and can prescribe these medications on a chronic basis. When you transition from pediatric to adult care, there literally is an entire gap in care, services, resources, funding, everything.
Most people in this world believe that sickle cell affects people of color, and so
Yes.
therefore fundraising is almost impossible, right?
Yes.
But let's dispel this myth. Sickle cell affects everybody, right?
Right, so sickle cell can affect anybody because, again, we're talking about genes. And particularly now that, people, mix and marry. And,
Sure.
and so wherever you go, I like to say your genes go with you.
Absolutely.
But India, Saudi Arabia, the whole Mediterranean, there's so many people with sickle cell disease in our world.
No matter
it's
the
actually
color.
the most common.
Absolutely.
What does the Foundation for Sickle Cell Disease Research provide to sickle cell patients?
Everything that we absolutely can and everything that they absolutely need. So we are a full-service, comprehensive medical care center, and we also participate in clinical research. And clinical research is so important. On the medical care side, we have an infusion suite. It has 18 lounge chairs, so the patients come in, they bring all of their things with them, so that they can be comfortable for the day, and they're able to get their IV fluids, pain medications, and any other meds that they need. We also have a case manager, so we have social work. They get all the wraparound services. We prepare meals for them.
Wow.
We're so proud that we're able to offer all of those services.
It sounds like, doctor, it's more of a multidisciplinary approach?
It's multidisciplinary. We have a neurosurgeon that works with us, a hematologist, oncologist, nurse practitioners, lots of nurses and medical assistants. We have a fellow that
That's
works
great.
with us, so it's really wonderful, all for sickle cell.
And you're putting on a symposium or something?
Yes. So every year we have a symposium. We're coming up on the 17th annual, so this is how long the symposium has been in place. We get people from all over the world, Ghana, Australia, Brazil, that come to the symposium to share their experiences about sickle cell disease and their knowledge.
Doctor, how can people get involved to help those with sickle cell disease?
Yes, you can always visit our website and make a donation. And your donation goes a long way in helping this patient population.
Where can people go to find out more information?
FSCDR.org or FSCDRLLC.com.
Doctor, thank you so much. Thank you for the information and what
Thank
you're
you.
doing to help all those people.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
Thank you so much for being here with us. And of course, if you want more information, you can always go to our website, thebalancingact.com.
And we'll be right back.
Right after this.
Can you believe it's already time for the kids to go back to school? I'm always looking for easy-to-make, healthy family meals. And here to help us is Grilling with Dad, Maciek Zurawski. Welcome back.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, so I know you get this because you have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Yes, 2 kids ready to go back to school, so we're super busy, lots going on. And
So we
this
have to do
is-
something that's easy, fun, and nutritious.
Yes.
And yummy.
Yes, so
Let's
we
do
have
it.
this beautiful chuck roast from Swift Meats. As you can see, it's a nice big size roast, and it's perfect for family meals.
This is fantastic.
Beautifully marbled, packed full of flavor, nutrients. It's going to be delicious. It's from Swift Meat, so you know it's going to be good. So let's get things started. We're going to season the outside with salt and pepper, just a nice even coating. We're going to hit both sides, so you don't need too much.
Okay.
So that's ready. We're going to go with a little olive oil in our cast iron skillet. We're going to sear this off.
And if you haven't tried Swift Meat, you're going to want to also.
It's delicious. So we're going to cook this for about 2 minutes on each side, create this beautiful crust on the outside, and then we're going to toss this in the crock pot, so it's a super easy meal to make.
And by the way, crock pots, another thing I love. These are so easy. You can walk away and let it cook
Easy,
all day.
convenient, and it's perfect for the chuck roast because this is perfect for the slow and slow cooking. After the chuck roast is seared, get this beautiful crust forming on the outside. We're going to take this thing, and this goes in our crock pot.
How easy was that?
Now we're going to add all our other ingredients. We've got some beef broth. I'm also adding some chicken broth. Okay, we're going to add some soy sauce. This will bring
I'm
out
gonna
that
make this
umami
tonight.
flavor. Again, super easy. We're going back to school. We're going to add some veggies, so it's going to be one full meal, right? So we've got some potatoes, and then we've got some carrots.
Anybody can do
Again,
this.
Super easy. You can whatever vegetables you have,
Yeah,
you can
just
toss
throw them in there.
We're gonna add the rest of our seasonings, and this goes in the crock pot. Again, 6 to 8 hours over low heat, and then you end up with this delicious meal right here.
Oh my
Plate it up,
gosh.
and it's ready to go.
And ready to eat with Swift Meats.
Yes.
I was reading here, Chef, September is Food Safety Month. This is really important, isn't it?
It is. Food safety should be on top of everyone's mind. Wash your hands, wash your utensils, making sure you don't touch stuff that you're not supposed to. You want to make sure that your raw foods don't touch your cooked food, so there's no cross-contamination, and making sure stuff gets refrigerated after it's cooked, so it doesn't contaminate.
I love it. Okay, for our viewers who'd like more information, where can they go?
SwiftMeats.com for more tasty recipes.
Great tips, great recipes, great food. Can I try?
Of course, try it out.
Let's eat.
Look how beautiful that
Look
looks.
how soft it is. Oh my gosh.
It just shreds.
Oh, so
What do
tender.
you think?
My family's going to be so happy tonight.
It's perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
The bomb. And if you'd like more information, go to our website, thebalancingact.com. Really soft. Oh,
So good.
another bite. The onset of the COVID pandemic brought on a transformation that changed the very idea of how we work today. We're seeing so many more people work from home and at times from the office. That's why the hybrid work model is one that's appealing to many employees and employers. So I recently spent some great time with two Family First Life agents who juggle the best of both worlds. Take a look. So gentlemen, let's talk about the hybrid model. You're both successful agents and you deal with your clients, whether in person or virtually. Is it the same service, if you will, when you do that?
We're able to, service more families, which is really nice. We meet with a lot of people who are in different states. If we're not able to, go see them in person, we can still see them, virtually over Zoom, over the phone, whatever the case is, and provide the exact same service we would as if we were sitting with them, like we're sitting here today.
Do you feel your clients, feel that they're being taken care of?
Absolutely. I mean, the main thing, they want to feel secure. So I kind of go over exactly who I am, the companies we represent, and what it is that we're going to do today.
Now, I personally like things in person. That's just the person I am, right? But I can see how virtual is a great option because it can get other family members together when they can't be together.
Older folks like to have their kids involved so we can get on a three-way with the Zoom with them and explain everything to their children, make sure we let them know. My job's not finished just because we got you this policy and we set you up to make sure your kids are taken care of. I'm talking to their son or daughter or whoever else is on the Zoom with us and letting them know you guys are going to reach out to me and I can look them in the eye, which we couldn't do in person, because oftentimes the kids couldn't take time to be there with them.
When you're on Zoom and them being able to tie in together, because they always would hear it from their parents, right? And they may not have, all the info and they may have questions, and being able to tie in, that makes it super easy.
Now let's talk about the flexibility as an agent as well. How does the hybrid model work for you?
And early on, we used to, we didn't have people servicing different parts of the country, so we would fly out there to go meet with people. So now we're able to stay home and be with my wife, and not have to travel as much and still service clients that I would have serviced in different parts of the country where we don't have a big population of agents at.
How about for you, Jonathan? I know you have 3 beautiful girls.
I come from the traveling every 2 weeks, be gone for a few days to serve some families, but now I'm able to stay home and, they'll still see me.
Tell me
about the mission, how important it is for you to serve your clients, the mission of Family First Life, the trust, and what makes you different.
Our mission's always been about how many families can we service. You know, there's around 50% of the country has no life insurance, right? So we're just trying to make sure that we keep adding to that number.
You figure when we're talking to folks, right, and there's certain things that they're not even thinking about. Like, hey, if you got sick, what is it going to look like for you and your family? Can you keep this home? I never thought of that. You know, hearing that at the end of it, I'm so glad we got a chance to meet. You know, that means the world.
I appreciate everything you do, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us, Olga.
So thanks so much for joining us today.
Remember to head to our Facebook page, like us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and visit thebalancingact.com to enter our latest sweepstake or giveaway.
You could just win
That's
something.
right.
Be safe, love that family of yours, and we'll see you next time.